forget a name. It carries silence like it carries shame. Through broken roads and faded stone, where truth gets lost and never goes home. And the wind keeps saying when nobody speaks, and the shadows of the cypress trees beneath the parish, the stories don't sleep. They're buried in water, they're buried too deep. 10 names whisper into the night, still waiting on justice, still out of sight. Don't talk, but they remember all. Every unanswered call after the fall, and every light that flickered out too fast still echoes in the weight of the past. Beneath the parish, stories don't sleep. They're buried in water, they're buried too deep. 10 names whisper into the night, still waiting on justice, still out of sight.
first, they appeared to be isolated tragedies. Different communities, different sheriff departments, different circumstances. But beneath the surface, troubling similarities were beginning to emerge. Elizabeth Lizzie Beauregard. April 6, 1977. 32 years old. A secretary for a real estate office in Bossier City. She was last seen at Bayou Tavern late that night around 11 p.m. 3 days, on April 9, 1977, around 7 a.m., two teenage boys found her body near a Lake Bistineau in the water on the eastern edge of Bossier Parish. Sheriff Waylon Brulette of Bossier Parish Sheriff Office led the investigation. The autopsy found water in lungs, but also found that there was a fishing line around her neck. June 15, 1977. Martha Jean Duncan, a 29-year-old waitress leaving work. She got into her car heading home. She left around 11 p.m. She never made it home. June 16, 1977. Martha Jean's car was found abandoned on a nearby dirt road. June 17, 1977. Her body was found by two fishermen near a secluded bayou. Sheriff Marty Matoye of Caddo Parish led the investigation. It was found that she was strangled. October 4, 1977. Joanne Lambert, a 25-year-old school teacher, left from visiting her sister in Leesville around 9:15 p.m. She left in her 1972 Chevrolet Nova to head home. She never made it. Her drive took her down along Highway 171, which led to her house on the outskirts of town. At 7 a.m. the next morning, a truck driver spotted her car abandoned on the side of a logging road, driver's door ajar. 3 days later, October 7th, 1977, a group of hunters deep in Kisatchie National Forest stumbled upon Joanne's body. Lay among the pine needles, partially covered, as if someone tried to hide her. Sheriff Carl Broussard headed the investigation of Vernon Parish's sheriff office. The autopsy revealed she had been strangled with a thin rope or cord. November 9th, 1977. Maddie Davenport, a 24-year-old law clerk in Rayville. Madeline and some of the other law clerks went out to dinner. She left the restaurant around 9:30 p.m. She waved goodbye as she got in her 1971 yellow Pontiac Firebird and drove toward home. November 10th, 1977. Around 9:30 a.m., a local farmer spotted her car abandoned on a rural road near Booth River. November 11th, 1977. A duck hunter near Crew Lake found her body in some tall grass. Sheriff Dale Grayson of Richland Parish Sheriff Office opened a full investigation. He silently started to worry. The community were racked with fear. They were constantly calling to see if that person had been arrested yet. November 18, 1977. Caroline Wells, a 24-year-old waitress, left her shift at the Delta Cafe in Lake Providence. She headed home to Transylvania, a small town in East Carroll Parish. She took her usual route home along Highway 65. She never made it home. November 19, 1977. Around 2:15 a.m., a sheriff deputy spotted Caroline's car A white 1973 Chevrolet Chevette abandoned on the highway. November 22nd, 1977. A fisherman on Lake Providence found her body. Sheriff Earl Dawson of the East Carroll Parish Sheriff Office took immediate action and led the investigation. It was found that she was strangled. May 21st, 1978. Susanna Susie Belgrad, 26-year-old waitress, left her home in Mani to meet her friend for a late-night fishing trip at Toledo Bend Reservoir. Around 9:30 p.m., she was seen leaving a convenience store in her pickup truck on Highway 171. May 22nd, 1977, around 11 a.m. Her pickup truck was found abandoned near a boat ramp. Driver's side door opened. 3 days later, May 25th, 1978. A couple hiking through the woods near the reservoir found her body. The wife was so distraught from the sight, she became visibly sick. Sheriff Frank Boudneau of the Sabine Parish Sheriff Office took charge of the investigation. She was found strangled. July 8th, 1978. Abigail Abby Monroe, a 24-year-old nursing student, went to the Caldwell Drive-In Theater in Columbia with a group of friends. The movie ended around 11:30 p.m. She took her usual route, Highway 165, back home to her parents' house. She never made it home. July 9th, 1978, 6 a.m. Her car was found abandoned on the shoulder of the highway near Bouf River. The driver's side door opened. Later that day, her body was found by the riverbank by some fishermen. Sheriff Edgar LaSalle of the Caldwell Parish Sheriff Office launched an investigation. He also had some of his deputies making phone calls to several of the other parishes to compare notes. November 5th, 1978. Rebecca Becky Sinclair, a 22-year-old office clerk, left the office building where she worked for an insurance company in Monroe. She was supposed to be waiting for a ride. Her ride was running late, so she began to walk home. November 6th, 1978. Around 8 a.m., a hunter walking near the banks of the Washita River stumbled upon her body, lying near the river's edge. Sheriff John LaCour of Washita Parish Sheriff Office found himself a little nervous as he began the investigation. The autopsy confirmed she was strangled. December 4th, 1978. Charlene Charlie Taylor, 20-year-old journalist who was a night student at Louisiana Tech University, was supposed to drive straight home to Farmerville. She was last seen at about 9:30 p.m. driving in her red 1974 Dodge Dart east of Highway 33. 2 days later, December 6th, 1978. A hunter walking near Darbonne Swamp found her body, covered with large branches. Sheriff Wallace Boudreau of Union Parish Sheriff Office immediately launched an investigation.
In Avoyelles Parish, people are afraid. In Rapides Parish, families are demanding answers. In Natchitoches, rumors spread faster than facts. And in every parish represented in this room, the same question keeps returning. Over the past 7 years, these investigations have been handled by different departments under different circumstances. Some sheriffs faced mounting public pressure. Others struggled with limited resources. Some believed they were investigating isolated crimes. Others feared creating panic where none existed. Yet despite those differences, the questions remained the same. For years, these cases have been treated as separate investigations. Different victims, different parishes, different circumstances. And perhaps they are. But after reviewing these files, I can no longer ignore what continues to appear across them. The victims were women. Different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different communities. Yet most shared similar characteristics. Many were employed. Many were in their 20s or early 30s. Several were described as having slim to medium builds. They were ordinary women living ordinary lives. They worked, they had families, they had routines. And then suddenly those routines ended. The locations tell a story of their own. Many of the victims were recovered in secluded areas, wooded locations, remote roads, near rivers, bayous, lakes, and waterways, places where a person could disappear without attracting attention. Many were discovered not by investigators, but by fishermen and hunters moving through areas rarely traveled by the public. The vehicles raise even more questions. Time and again, abandoned cars were found along highways, parish roads, and isolated dirt roads. Some showed no obvious signs of struggle. Some contained purses left behind. In several cases, personal belongings remained inside the vehicle. In others, doors were left open as if the victim had stepped away and never returned. And perhaps most troubling of all, there were very few witnesses. Most of these women vanished at night. Dark roads, limited traffic, few people around to see anything, few people around to remember anything. What remains is a pattern of unanswered questions. The timeline stretches from 1971 through 1979. 8 years. 8 years of investigations, 8 years of grieving families, 8 years without answers. When these cases are placed on a map, another pattern begins to emerge. The majority occurred across northern Louisiana, northwest Louisiana, northeast Louisiana, communities connected by highways, rural routes, and parish roads. Could that mean something? I don't know. Could it mean nothing? Perhaps. But it would be irresponsible not to ask the question. If these crimes are connected, then we must consider every possibility, including the possibility that whoever committed these acts was not confined to a single parish, not confined to a single jurisdiction, perhaps not even confined to Louisiana. The borders of Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi sit within reach of many of these communities. Traveling between them would not have been difficult. I am not presenting conclusions. I am presenting observations. I am not accusing a suspect. I am asking a question. How many similarities must exist before we stop treating these women as separate cases and begin looking at them as part of a larger story? Because the names changed, the parishes changed, the roads changed, but the questions never did.
June 6, 1979. Gwen Hall, a 26-year-old secretary who worked for the Natchitoches Parish Department of Water Safety. She left work around 6:30 p.m. The security guard saw her go to her 1972 Pontiac Trans Am, headed home. She never made it. June 7, 1979. Her car was found abandoned near Cane River, not far from her home. 2 weeks later, June 20th, 1979. Duck hunters navigating the Bayou Pierre swamp found her body. Sheriff Louis Tremblay of Natchitoches Parish launched a full-scale homicide investigation. It was found she had been strangled. For years, investigators searched for answers. They compared reports, studied evidence, followed leads. But there was one victim they had yet to hear from. I am Gwen Hall. I told their stories. I spoke their names. I followed their final journeys. And in the end, my story became part of theirs. The files remain open. The questions remain unanswered. And somewhere between the highways, bayous, and parish lines, the truth is still waiting.